beginning.
We'll do this until my wife gets home and realizes what I'm doing.
You're going to have to hang up on her.
I'll probably hang up.
On me. And just act like nothing was going on.
What?
I was just watching pornography.
I was masturbating.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. This is episode 47, so we're covering the 46:01 to the 47-minute mark. I am your host, Aaron, and with me, one in person and one via speakerphone, are the number 9 and number 14 rated podcast co-hosts as compiled by my favorite publication, APDC Weekly.
Oh.
I'm proud to have them here as part of this team. Guys, please introduce yourselves.
I'm Ryan, and I feel like those are pretty low rankings for our own publication that I've just learned about.
Hey, I'm sorry the editors made their decision, but
It
not
seems
on
like
me.
I got railroaded.
It's not on me, man. And joining us via phone, he's a real trooper. He wasn't actually going to join us at all today because he's suffering from pneumonia, but are you still with us, or are you dead?
I'm still here.
And how are you feeling?
I feel like I have pneumonia.
So not so good.
No, I don't feel so well. I have pneumonia. Imagine having the sensation that you need to cough every waking moment and trying to suppress that instinct just so that you can have some moment of happiness.
Oh no, that sounds awful. I've never had pneumonia, I don't think.
I think this is a first for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Caleb might not be with us the whole episode, but he did call in at least to put in an appearance on the show.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm glad you did that because without you, most people don't want to even listen to us.
Hey, I'm not the number 14 ranked co-host.
I'm glad you took 14 because it was non-specific, which makes me
No,
number
it
9.
sounds like he's taking number 9 and giving 14 to you.
Oh. Well,
No, what am I? Which one am I?
You'll have to pick up the next issue of APDC Weekly. Find out for yourself.
I am glad that Caleb did make an appearance because I could not bear if we put out one with it's just Aaron and I, and then all we hear is, it's too stupid without Caleb there. He's the best part of the show.
Well, that's why I called in. I wouldn't want you to have to suffer through that.
Nah, just me sitting at home reading Twitter, digging a knife into my leg.
Well, I wasn't aware that you had a nice thing, but sure.
I gotta do it to feel something.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to bring this back into Transformer Town. Guys,
Thanks.
we're at episode 47. We're almost to 50.
I know.
Holy shit.
Should do something special for 50.
Did you guys think we'd make it this far? Did you think it would last?
Yeah, I mean, after our first couple episodes, I didn't see a reason why it would fade away like most things where we just don't end up doing anything about it and just let it die.
We need to take this energy into productive realms.
Like some that will make us money.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, a word of caution. I might not make it to 51.
That's true. I think I'll probably put it at the end of the episode, but we may be recording Caleb's last words as we speak.
Should we make one of those sort of time of your life
video
montages just in the event of Caleb's untimely death?
We should actually probably do that constantly, like newspapers do, where they update famous people's obituaries just in case they die, so they can go to print.
Sometimes they accidentally get published.
Mm-hmm. We should create a video for Caleb as I hope you had the time of your life, or In the Arms of an Angel.
Caleb, what music would you like played at your funeral? Now that we're back to this again.
I would like that Tupac song, That's Just the Way It Is.
Oh, good choice.
Something will never change.
Okay. All right. Well, guess what, guys? We've got a shout out. Someone is trying to keep themselves in the APDC headlines, and that someone is the 85 Bears
Nice.
Rule 76.
Oh, that's who it would be.
We see you out there, buddy. So, actually, I'm only going to cover one this week. He's actually done 2 new reviews.
Well, we haven't recorded in a month.
I know. Well, but so I know he's done 2, but only one is showing up, his most recent one, and I'll cover that in our next recording session, just for content, time filler. But the headline was, of course, The Bears Rule.
Yep.
And the review statement was, always remember, no matter where you go, there you are. Now, do you gents know what that's
Is that a Yogi
referring
Berra
to?
quote?
No.
No?
I'm surprised you don't know this.
Hours?
Nope.
Wherever you go, there you are. I know the line, but I do not remember what it's from.
So I've never seen this movie, but I knew this line was associated with this movie, and that's Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh,
Across
Into the Eighth Dimension.
Yeah.
Shit,
I love that movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
that movie's crazy.
Yeah, it's got John Lithgow in that.
So the scene, there's a nightclub scene, which introduces us to, I'm assuming, the female protagonist, Penny Pretty, who's the twin sister of Buckaroo Banzai's deceased wife. And I don't know, that was the intro scene. He gives it. She talks about how she wants to die, and he gives a long speech about why she shouldn't. And that's one of those.
Wherever you go, there you are.
That's exactly right.
I think
basically he was trying to encourage the crowd to quit picking on her. So this is at some strange nightclub where they're
don't remember this
performing,
at all.
and the crowd is picking on this poor suicidal woman, and he steps in and puts an end to it.
And I think that legally, if your wife does die and she has a twin, you now get to marry that twin.
I'm trying to think. I mean, that's a very old Western mentality.
I believe that's probably biblical. That sounds like something that's in the Bible. It's fucked up. Like, I know there's stories where if a woman, like a woman's wife died, or a woman's husband died, and then the brother gets to marry her or something, or has to.
In Deadwood, didn't Timothy Oliphant's character marry his dead wife's sister or something? Or no, he married his dead brother's wife.
Same thing.
Okay, well. So, hey, the Bears Rule, we know what you're up to.
What did he? Oh, you just said what he said. Never
I
mind.
see you. So, we love that you do this, and we definitely don't think you should stop doing this. However, just know, in case you didn't know, that your new reviews just replace your old reviews.
They do? So they don't stay?
So they don't stay. So if you
Man,
have
iTunes is great.
so if you have the passion and energy to keep entertaining us with new reviews, let me ask you this. Do you also have the passion and energy to open up brand new iTunes accounts? Or perhaps borrow your wife, your cousin, somebody else's iTunes accounts and game the system for us? That would be great. But
What if he doesn't listen and he just likes to leave reviews on random podcasts?
Maybe so. Well, now it makes. I wonder if I can click through in iTunes to see all reviews by De Bear's Rule.
He just spends one day putting the same review on 100 different podcasts.
Maybe that's true.
I'll take it.
We're going to research this. Also, by the way, it looks like our listener appreciation goodies have at least started to show up in the United States of America. Don't know, haven't seen any notes of outside the borders of this country, but please let us know as you get those, or if they don't show up in the next, I guess, week or so. I don't know I mean, I would assume it wouldn't take that long.
How long does it take international U.S. postage?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a month.
You don't really?
I wouldn't.
God.
That wouldn't shock me.
Okay.
That's crazy.
It's 1914. See?
Don't send us any notes anytime soon. Give it a few weeks.
Yeah, I loved seeing it pop up on Twitter and people posting pictures of it. It was great.
And I noticed a spelling error.
Oh, you're just gonna tell everybody about it? Because nobody's mentioned it.
Well, maybe they're just being nice. That's what I'm afraid. They're like, ooh, these guys are dumbos.
Ooh, look at this fucking sack of shit.
But you know what? I can tell at least the Ryan is kind of one insult away from driving off a cliff. So
tossing a noose over a rafter, scratching out Ryan was here.
That's right. Brooks?
Yes.
That was just
it's a callback.
I just called it back. Anyway, so I'll we'll make it a fun thing. If you see the typo, just let us know about it. I won't tell you what it is, but I will tell you it is one of the 3 cards.
Bad.
So it's not that bad.
It's not. I didn't even notice it until you told me.
I didn't notice it until I saw it posted on Twitter, and
you were like, "Oh no!"
I think I saw it on our Jet Judo friends. The
Close Kuntosh?
Close Kuntosh, yes.
So send us back all the cards.
I'm going to mark it out with a Sharpie, make an editor's note.
With a whiteout on it.
All right, let's get into the episode. Last episode, you'll recall that we opened up on a psychedelic wonderland that is Quintessa, or Quintesson, depending on how much of a dick you want to be. And beneath a liquid energy sea, Hot Rod buzzes down a school of aggressive mechanized piranha, some spirited spiked seaweed, to ultimately find Kup being clenched by a large electronic leviathan. And after a few laser bolts to the face, the beast drops Kup and his parts, and that's where we kick things off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's correct, sir. I'm Ed McMahonning this.
So, Hot Rod and this Kraken of sorts are engaged in battle. Immediately, the squid kind of reaches towards Hot Rod, grabs him, lifts him up. And Hot Rod just starts unloading the blasters on him.
Yeah, and then cuts that tentacle off at like 4611, some more buzzsaw action. And I did actually...
Which is cool looking.
It is really cool. I did actually pause it and count, and the squid does have 10 arms. So,
nice.
So some convergent evolution there.
Way to be accurate, animators. I love when he smacks into the tentacle and there's like the metal on the outside is kind of a flesh, and then there's kind of, like cables and
metallic
nerves
veins
on the inside.
Yeah,
that's very awesome. For actually, I'll keep going to the 46:16 mark because the wrestling is continuing. This is a long shot for an animated movie, at least as far as I can recall. This whole 16-second sequence, from the beginning of the minute up until about now.
Hot Rod is shooting the squid in the eye.
That's
and
right.
It explodes, basically.
He aims his arm exhaust. It's kind of a continuous pulsing shot into the eye. He holds on. You kind of hear a deep, bassy boom. And then he releases the shot, and the squid's eye sizzles with electricity and cracks and then just disintegrates into shards, exposing the inner ocular mechanics of the eye.
And, okay. So, after that happens, the squid roars, which is so stupid. But it made me think of whenever, I don't know if you guys have seen Jaws, The Revenge, which is Jaws 4.
No.
I don't know if I have.
So Michael Caine. The plot is ridiculous. Basically, the plot is that the sharks are getting revenge on her family. They can smell their blood or something, and they travel all the way down to the Caribbean and chase them. Yes, this time it's personal is the tagline. But the shark in that on the denouement, the shark roars like that, and I listened to them back to back, and I think it might be the same roar. Which I will post that, and I know Caleb, you can't hear it or anything, and I'll show you. You can listen to it afterwards. I'll drop it in here, Aaron. But it sounds almost identical. Okay, this is the sound of the squid from Transformers the movie. And this is the sound of that shark from Jaws: The Revenge.
You decide.
Any questions?
David S. Pumpkins? Is that a character we need to visit our recording
skeletons
studio?
are part of it. Yeah, let's jump on that bandwagon that's been beat to fucking death. The NES game, Jaws, the end of that is based on Jaws: The Revenge, where you stab the thing, and like they throw the depth charges, and you have to hit it, and the shark jumps out of the water, you stab the shark with the boat. That's how Jaws 4 ends.
Oh, okay.
Very stupid.
Didn't know that. I do like that Nintendo
I do
game.
like that game too. That gets a lot of hate, but I like it. If you want to play a game for like 15 minutes and beat it, that's your game.
It's true. It is an extremely easy game to beat.
Yeah.
When you know what you're doing.
It's quite simple.
I think as a kid I recall playing it for hours and being frustrated by it, but then we've played it as an adult and just knocked it right out.
It helps whenever you can read how to beat the game.
It's true. So,
one other point, Jaws the Revenge, another movie with a colon in the title.
do they call it The Jaws, The Revenge?
They do not. It's just Jaws the Revenge.
So we are at the 4620 mark, and at this point, the squid is starting to kind of recoil in pain. He drops Hot Rod and does what I think we all kind of expected he might do, which is let out some ink.
Yep.
Let out some stank on this.
Big cloud of ink, which, if you remember from last week in the script deviations, I don't know why I put that in last week's episode, but the ink was a, quote, laser print ink stream which boils out in the water in a series of dots and X shapes which merge to conceal his retreat. What?
Great. Yeah. They didn't
I
do
don't understand that.
They didn't animate that, it turns out. That does it really for the squid, and Hot Rod kind of swims over to Kup as the ink mist sort of dissolves away. And Kup is lying face down on the seafloor. He's been torn all to shit. He's missing a left leg and a right arm. He is a fucking mess. And I don't think I'd ever noticed this before, that he is sunk into the
sand.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's an animation error or if that was intentional. The script deviations that we talk about do mention that he's sunk into sand, but that doesn't make any sense.
No. It does not.
Those are sheets of metal on the seafloor.
I mean, I guess if you want to say that, like maybe, you know, some of the metal has oxidized and created a silt on the floor. I don't know. It doesn't appear that way in any other frame, but
we'll go with it.
And here we are paused at 46:43, where he turns Kup over, and I don't understand what's going on with his eyes.
He's squinting.
But, like, there's no, like, the eyes, okay, right there at 46:44 or 45, they are animated again, but prior to that, they just don't exist, and they only exist in, like, the animators colored them in a real pale way, so I guess it's supposed to look like his eyes are closed and they're opening.
Maybe
but
so.
It just always, even as a kid, bugged me, that why not just have them drawn there? I don't know, it bugged me.
Like have a closed eye drawn effect?
Yeah.
I never even picked up on that. That's kind of interesting.
Well, I am pedantic.
Way to go.
Can Transformers close their eyes?
Well, they can narrow them, so I would think so.
But when Optimus Prime dies, his eyes don't close. He just graze over and...
It's true.
Let's get to the bottom of this. Why would they even need to blink their eyes?
Why do they need mouths?
Why are bubbles coming out of their mouth holes as if they're breathing?
I thought of that, too, because, you know... They can survive in space. Obviously, they don't need oxygen. I cognitively reframed it as the bubbles are like, you know, there's air inside of him, like just existing because there are, you know, spaces within his body. That's how I reconciled it.
I was thinking maybe, I mean, there's obviously probably lots of motors and whatnot inside of them. Maybe that action needs air and expels air, and maybe that's part of it. Hey!
Well, they can't need air because they live in space, but...
Have we determined... Are they swimming in oil or water?
In the script, it says it's an energon ocean, or like energy ocean, or something like that.
That makes more sense. If they were swimming in water, it would probably short circuit pretty quick.
But would you not like overload if you were in an energy ocean?
Like they can't. In season 3, they do get drunk on energon. Actually, they get drunk on energon in season 1 or 2. Also, Megatron gets drunk, and the Decepticons get drunk on energon.
Yeah.
We should review that episode. Caleb, are you liking stuff on Facebook?
I think I forgot to mute my phone. That's why.
Okay. It's like that. Gotcha. Okay, so there is an animation error here that that I picked up on. Basically, earlier the cell indicates that it's Kup's left leg and right arm that were torn off. And as this sequence kind of progresses, they flip it, and it's the right leg and the left arm that's torn off.
This is the first animation error we've seen.
So if you look at it, that's a left arm and that's a right leg.
Yep.
Okay.
Is the hot side hot and the cool side cool?
Let's bring that back.
Okay, here's the first indicator. Oh, whoops.
It didn't go over well.
No, I liked it. Aaron's manipulating the video.
I can't pay attention to your buffoonery. Walks towards Kup. So in this picture, you can clearly see left leg torn off, right leg
arm.
torn off.
Right arm.
Left and right.
Left leg, right arm.
Left leg, right arm.
Yes.
All right. Let's flip him over. Now it's right leg.
Left arm. No,
left arm. Right leg, left
right
arm.
leg, left arm, and then we switch again, at least partially here.
And then that is a left arm.
And left leg.
and left leg. God damn it, animators.
It's all over the place.
Nelson Shin. So Kup says, "Fix me."
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say please or anything. I mean,
Well, he's in pain, and presumably, again, we talk about how they don't need to feel pain, but it's useful evolutionarily speaking. And like just him gathering up the parts, I'm just like he's like a Civil War surgeon, just picking up parts, and throwing them on the butcher's bill.
So Hot Rod's a good guy. He gets that his guy's in pain. He says he's going to help out. And he picks up Cup's severed arm and leg and carries him off to... We'll find out next episode.
Yeah, and where Kup does say "fix me," I mean, this is the first time, and we'll see it later in the movie or the show. I think. Well, there might have been some. There was some in the show of like putting like it's real changeable what you can and can't fix on a transformer. So this is fixable. It reminded me of and I only had it in digest form, the Marvel comic issue number 3 that was part of the miniseries, which is the one with Spider-Man and Gears. Mm-hmm. And it's at the end of that book, Gears falls from a great height and like breaks into a bunch of pieces. And they Optimus and the other guys gather him up, and they're like, he's not really dead. He's they don't, for some reason, explain that they can bring him back to life, and Spider-Man thinks they're cold machines and aren't really alive because of that or whatever. And I don't know. That's what it reminded me of. I actually that issue is interesting because in the four, like the miniseries run up, like all other Marvel properties, they were in the same universe, and then later on they completely cut the Transformers out of the Marvel universe, even though there's G.I. Joe crossovers and shit. But like in the letters page on
Does G.I. Joe cross over with any of the superhero comics?
I think so.
Okay.
I think minimally, but like I think it's issue number 64. Issue number 64 of on the letters page, they politely ask you to forget that this ever happened and that they ever existed in the same universe.
Gotcha. So I don't have any voice actors, as you can imagine, but I did think this might be a good point to interject my limited knowledge on Quintessa, or Quintesson, the planet that they're on. So we talked about this a little bit before. The movie never actually mentions the planet's name, but in the script, it is called Quintesson, and in the show, it is referred to as Quintessa. But the TF Wiki refers to it as the home planet of the Quintessons. It's also home to various deadly robotic creatures, all as twisted and malevolent as the Quintessons themselves.
So it's just an evil planet?
Apparently. It has the tendency to be destroyed, also, it mentions. I believe it is destroyed in 5 Faces of Darkness, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Flint Dilley's idea for Quintessa was that it was not the original planet that the Quintessons originated, but merely the latest in a series of planets colonized by the Quintessons and subsequently claimed to be their homeworld. He envisioned all the sea creatures that we see in the movie as some of their evil, discarded experiments.
Makes sense.
And which actually it makes double sense, thinking that I never put this together before. The Quintessons themselves and everything that works for them has some sea-like.
That's true.
Like Quintessons are all tentacle-y and shit. You got Sharkticons, you got the Alicon guards, you got all this shit. I don't know why it didn't slap me in the face, the sea metaphors going on all over the place here, but
which is what it sounds like is happening on the other end of that phone. Are you by the ocean?
Do you think he fell asleep?
I don't know.
It's not possible he fell asleep, right?
What is happening?
He's got it. Is this real?
Are we being punked?
What if this is him dying?
Oh, well, we got it. That's the literal death rattle.
Hey, what's up?
You all right there?
What's up? How we doing?
Did you leave for a moment?
I'm here. Here we go.
Oh, it sounded like you were in an iron lung.
Did you fall asleep, Caleb?
Maybe. Let's just script deviation.
Anyway, to wrap up, yes, it does make sense that like Aaron said, yeah, that is weird. The Quintessons all have oceanic or like water component to them. It's interesting. I never thought of that.
One other thing I'll throw out there real quick, I need to go to my notes here. You know how we talked about the grabber that was used in my script deviations that grabbed Hot Rod and Cup's ship and actually brought it down. Yeah, the claw, if you will. I found a picture online, Fluoro Dairy artwork of that illustrated.
We'll put that up on the podcast page.
There it is.
It's exactly as described.
It is a claw coming out of a crevasse and trying to grab an Autobot ship.
There's like a little hole next to it with little eyes coming out. What does that note say next to that?
It says eyes of the grabber? Eyes of the other grabber? Okay, so I guess these are eyeballs.
Oh, they're eyeballs on the base of the claw.
So this thing is sort of like, maybe it's semi-intelligent robotic life, but it has the grabber's on its head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I don't know why this didn't make it to the screen.
Nope, me either. So, you know what it's time for.
Script deviations.
Ebola.
All right. Well, as you know, my script is a little bit closer into the finished, but there are still several entertaining deviations, and Ryan's is a wild ride. It's magnificent, as it is one of the early drafts, and I don't have too much that's really that different. It's just a couple script notes that I thought were funny. It talks about when Hot Rod shoots at the squid that his shots, quote, plink off a couple tentacles. And after Hot Rod blasts the, quote, hideous optical sensor, the squid releases a laser print ink stream, which boils in the water in a series of dots and X shapes.
Yeah, that made it to that draft.
Made it a while through there. And the script also mentions that Kup is half buried in the, quote, sand. But so, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe that's not so much a deviation since it happened on the
check.
All right. So, Ryan, I hope you've got something way better than that.
I got some interesting stuff. This was pretty short, actually. Hot Rod Neil, basically it's the same thing. He uses his sidearm to blast the squid, releases the laser print ink stream, as we said. Hot Rod lowers his head and blows a blast of air through his headpiece. The air blast clears the water of the ink, which is like, so he's blowing air through his fucking face?
That's so weird.
Okay, and then that clears the water, revealing Cup's head and torso half buried in the quote-unquote sand. As Hot Rod kneels, he says, "Kup, say something!" Close on Cup's head as he turns his head to look up at Hot Rod and spits out a mouthful of sand. What does this mean? Kup says, burbling as he speaks, okay, I guess I didn't read this part. Kup says button, and Hot Rod says button? And Kup, but your lip differential and get me out of here. I'm starting to rust.
What a jerk.
And then Hot Rod says, sure, Kup, right away. And then as he speaks, Hot Rod extends one arm and sends out a visible magnetic wave which spreads and rapidly pulls Cup's scattered body parts together. They clang and stick to Cup's head and torso in a jumble of odd part and machine ends.
What?
Well, that's fucking weird and silly. Like, what the fuck? Way to make this have no emotional impact at all. And then Hot Rod cradles Cup's head in the crook of his arm and starts ascending through the energy sea, scattering schools of curious metallic peeper fish. The fish are cigar-shaped, long-nosed, one-eyed, and they peep, peep, peep like tiny chickens. What the fuck? Peeper fish? I don't... What a weirdly specific detail that doesn't have to exist. Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
And I took the liberty of drawing a little design work of what I thought that would look like.
Oh, hey, share that with the audience.
I will share that, and I'll send a text of it to Caleb, but... Oh, God. That made me laugh for a while. And that's it.
That's it, huh? Well, that's all you got.
That's all you need.
It's a shame that this house isn't haunted like it usually is, because maybe we'd get a visit from the...
Oh!
So, okay, we can...
I'm the ghost of the iconic moon.
Well, it looks like Caleb had to drop off. Perhaps it was all too much for him in his tender throat and lungs.
His fluid-filled lungs.
He might have drowned.
And his own juices.
Ugh. But to me, just the ripped up cup, I guess, is kind of iconic.
Let's see. I think I did. Let me see what I wrote down. I'm going to pull an Aaron right now and say I just kind of like the whole sequence. The whole minute is great. Like Hot Rod fighting this huge squid in a really cool, a neat, like animated sequence.
Lots of techniques being used.
And then, the saving cup. Totally, like Hot Rod totally unfazed to jump right into battle. Yeah.
He's becoming the hero we always wanted him to be.
That's right. He's not the hero that we need, but he's the one we deserve.
That's
or
right.
whatever that stupid Batman quote is.
Next time on the Autopod Decepticast.
Well, if Caleb were here, he would be really excited right now, and I'd be telling him to strap in and get ready because it's time to take out the trash on the planet of junk.
Yeah.
And despite overwhelming danger, Daniel continues to live.
D is for danger.
That's right. That's right. So with that, please continue to listen to the show. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Tell all your pals. You could follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all of them at ApodDcast. And then, of course, our web presence at Autopod. Well, there's no at. It's just AutopodDecepticast.com. And if you're an iTunes user, please rate and subscribe. Ryan, what do we think we're tossing up on the old ApodDcast website this week?
Well, I'm
got
going
this
to
grabber picture.
I'm going to do the grabber. I'm going to put the picture of my design, my Floro-Dairy-esque design for the cigar peeper fish.
I like that drawing.
I'm going to do the side-by-side of the Sound of the Squid and the Jaws 4.
Excellent.
And I'll just do a little plug right here for myself. If you want to see some funny videos, go to YouTube and search for Ryan Jet 2. Maybe not 2. Ryan Jet, I'm not the one who's the MMA fighter.
Hang on. Let me just see what would happen if I randomly Google Ryan.
Well, I think you are subscribed to me.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, if you Google me, just...
Ryan Jet, MMA fighter. I don't remember you fighting Dewan Owens, Ryan.
It was a rough bout.
Who came out on top?
Wow, it's all that guy. There's also, I think, a Ryan Jet who murdered someone, so that's fun.
Well, I see this. Ryan, knives, death, and a famous name. Ryan Jet had 2 felonies. Pair gets 16 years in SDSU stabbing.
Great. That's
Man.
great. Go to YouTube and Google Ryan Jet and see what happens.
Okay. Ryan Jet.
It's going to be a lot of MMA.
MMA. Let's see how many MMAs. And then we get to you as whoa, I don't want to say your subscriber number out loud. I don't want you to seem like I'm bragging on you or anything.
Yeah, it's pretty high. It's on the first page though. If you put in Ryan Jet on YouTube in the search bar, you'll find me. And I just have some videos up there of me going to New York and Seattle and just some stupid shit, me running around in the snow in my fucking
Being funny.
Yeah, being a funny fuck.
Do you consider yourself funny?
I like to think so.
A lot of content.
I have a fair amount, yeah.
Holy jeez. I think I have seen all of this.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have a favorite video. What is it?
I do have something up there whenever Wes and I went to Jeff City for the total eclipse in August. I have a pretty cool video of that up there. So that's pretty neat. And,
I say start with Upscale Bartending 101 and
it is probably the best.
Keep moving.
And it's the oldest. It's like 7 years old.
It says
4 years ago.
That's different.
Different.
All right.
Fake news.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Caleb will be back next week. Don't worry. Bye.
Or he will not.
Unless he's dead. See ya. Bye.
R.I.P. Caleb.
Caleb. Hey, it's recording. Let him talk.
Hello? Yeah, I just got here.
Okay. I was hoping to call in to the show.
Well, I have you on speakerphone and we're recording.
Have you started? You haven't started the episode yet?
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay.
You sound great.
I was hoping that, kind of get in on the action a little bit.
How do you want to do that?
Maybe maybe I'd make a joke or something.
Okay. Do you have one prepared?
I'll just wing it, how I do.
So are you saying you'd like to be left?
Yeah.
Are you saying you'd like to just be left on speakerphone this whole recording session?
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, we're getting ready to start.
That's up to you guys. You'd have to hold the phone up to the mic, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
It sounds pretty good coming through the headphones.
Well, let's kick it off then.
Do you even know what minute we're gonna? You won't be able to hear the minute.
It doesn't really matter. Does it ever really matter with me?
All right, I'm gonna get a drink and then I'll come back and we'll start.
Cut our intro.
That was...
All right. Well, you just wait around and talk, Caleb. You're by yourself right now. You could do your own After Dark.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Transformers After Dark. Is everybody ready for a good time? I am. Who wants some Mucinex? I do. Yeah. How about an antibiotic? Oh, yeah. Grab yourself some medication. Settle in with Transformers After Dark. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm going to be quiet for a little while now. Just let the silence kick in here.
I do have a funny story before we start about last weekend. I had sex, and
Wait. Shul intercourse?
in
Why did I call in?
in the pussy. So Wes and I had sex, and after we were done, I like to be a funny fuck. And after we were done, I was pulling the condom off, but instead of like pulling it off like a human, like unrolling it like a person would, I start stretching the end of it as far like just to snap it off, to pull it so it like pops off. But I got to about an arm length away from my body, and then the tip snapped off, and the rest of it slammed back into my dick head. And it bruised my penis head for like 3 days.
I'm glad this happened.
You deserve that.
It was probably the most intense, brilliant, like short-term pain I've ever felt in my life.
I have a suspicion you're gonna develop a fetish for watching people fall down, and while you're snapping condoms on your cock.
He's gonna put a nail on one side of a doorway and tie the condom to that one side, and then stretch his body all the way over to the other side to create a dick tripwire of sorts.
Like whenever you pull a tooth as a kid?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Did anybody ever do that?
I tried it. I can't remember if it worked or not.
I did not, because it's
horrifying.
That seems crazy.
It's horrifying. Couple things. You and West using rubbers. Good for you guys.
Yeah, so I need to get fixed.
Oh, okay.
So that I cannot do that, because I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
Nobody
nice.
likes condoms.
Well, I think that's been in the history books for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, what could feel nicer than to have sex with saran wrap on your cock? Even women don't like them.
And Wes doesn't care about you telling these stories?
Nope.
About her as a sexual being.
She laughed for a while about that, which actually was all I wanted anyway, was to make her laugh, so it worked out.
Congratulations.
It was crazy painful.
Caleb, have you been banging your wife while you've been sick the last week? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I can't get enough of it, guys.
Can't get enough super golden puss.
Yeah, that's it's what can I say? Love is in the air.
It sounds like a disease is in the air.
Well, pneumonia pneumonia is in my lungs.
So do you know where you got pneumonia?
I have no clue.
And usually pneumonia is a secondary infection when your body is already compromised. Like a lot of people get pneumonia after having influenza.
I think I had flu. I went to the doctor and tested negative for it. They gave me some nasal steroid.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of days later, I developed a horrible chest infection. And being that I'm prone to do this, I had a huge meeting at work, and I ignored my ailments.
Oh, no.
And I went to Kansas City for this huge meeting that I was preparing for, and I thought maybe I'd be okay by then, and I was not. And the second day of the meeting in Kansas City, I told my boss, I said, I think I'm going to go to the urgent care. And she said, I think you're going to go home now.
Please don't return.
And so I went home. Well, I drove, 200 miles to the urgent care and was promptly diagnosed with pneumonia. So, yeah, I probably should have went back to the doctor when I had received, once it got worse. But I was given the all clear on flu and nothing else. So I was like, screw it. Maybe it's just a residual from the sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was. The problem is that it ended up, like you just said, leading to something worse.
I like to think that they gave you this nasal spray for the flu, and then after you left the office, the nurse was like, "Oh fuck, we gave him the pneumonia spray instead. Don't tell him. He'll sue."
So they just have, in your mind, they just have bottles of pneumonia sprays?
Yeah, like the CDC, where they have it to study, but instead it's sitting in the refrigerator with the vaccines and the unguents.
I mean, just like the AIDS injections that the government's injected into poor people.
Yeah, the
and
FEMA death
minorities.
camps.
Okay. I don't think that you guys have a clear concept of what Mix's urgent care is like.
It's like Mad Max, like Thunderdome. Tina Turner. So spin the wheel, Raggedy Man. Oh god. What if we are recording Caleb's last words?
I mean, who better to share it with than our listeners?
That might make it go viral. Like, no pun intended.
Yeah, I totally went viral. Literally.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It would be a great honor, my last words, to be on the Autopod Decepticast.
Okay, I just want to make that clear. That I'm glad that we've got that on recording. So that means that when we do broadcast your death moments, it's not us just trying to, sort of drag your memory out for views and hits.
Like a quasi-fame cash grab.
This was your dream and desire.
What do I care? I'll be dead. I don't care what you guys do.
I'm just saying that it's not about, I want you to care. I want you to want this because your family will definitely
Sue?
drag us through the mud on this.
I'm going to try to sell your body to some necrophiliacs.
I'll see your pants off, but,
Then I'll have no pants and everyone will see my bruised dick. I appreciate nobody laughing at that.
I'm trying to talk about, we were talking about my death.
Yeah.
When you have to walk your bruised dick into it.
God, I'm bringing it about myself.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to start?